Hey, this is Eternal King bringing you another gaming video today. So, I wanted to go back and play an Arcane Studios game. Okay, that's a fresh save anyway. Yeah, I want to go back and play an Arcane Studios game. Just kind of talking about isometrics. Yeah, okay. Weapon degradation, traumas, oxygen, all good stuff. And yeah, we'll take FemShep here. So yeah, talking about Arcane Studios, of course, it was closed down. Similar to my Tango Gameworks video on The Evil Within 2, I did want to take a quick look at an Arcane Studios game and, a kind of systems-based RPG that is, essentially an amazing video game that nobody bought. And like that could be true for a lot of the games made by Tango Gameworks and Arcane Studios before they were closed down. Essentially just, creating these interesting worlds and these complex systems that you can play around with and experiment with, and then having these things not be well received by the public. It was, the entire genre of games, to the point that I can't think of any studios left that make games like these. I really can't. And, before I showed off Deus Ex Mankind Divided, and that was an Eidos Montreal game. They were closed down. And then now I'm showing off Arcane,
Good
being
morning,
the other studio
Morgan.
that was shut down.
Today is Monday, March 15th, 2032.
So yeah, personally I really like the intro for this game. Again, we talk about intros a lot, and I love to draw attention to them because it's just like something that I don't get in video games anymore, is like proper introductions.
Hey, Morgan, wake up. You're burning daylight. Send a helicopter to pick you up. It's just a few tests. Don't forget to wear your suit. See you soon. Oh, listen, really great you decided to come on board. We're gonna shake things up, Morgan. Like old times.
Yeah, so the game's intro is a bit of a red herring. So you get to see this beautiful world, and like, oh, this is sci-fi Earth, and oh my god, I want to go down and explore that. And it's more or less pretty set dressing. Yeah. I was seeing if I could sequence break the game, but I don't think I can. So yeah, you're putting on your space uniform. It's your first day on the job. It's a lot like Half-Life, which again I'm going to keep talking about on this channel forever, because Half-Life is the progenitor of most gaming when it comes to narrative storytelling. So you see it everywhere, right? Like 2 decades on, it's still like, it's still a Half-Life world, essentially. Yeah, I won't let you do it. So you basically find out that everything you're seeing is just a training simulation. That's really how it is. I would have liked it if you had the option to...
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Okay. I'd like the option to, quote-unquote skip the tutorial once you're familiar with it and sequence break the game, but you can't. They force you to go through the tutorial or the intro every single time. The first time it's really cool, and it's a fun narrative experience, but it would have been nice as like a little extra to players that if you threw objects through glass, that you could, sequence break the introduction. I think that would have been a nice little touch. But yeah, we just looked at a free game recently where you're riding a train.
Please make yourself comfortable and we'll be on our way. TranStar facility is just a short hop.
Yeah, so
78 degrees. Clear skies all the way.
We talked about the Valve train introduction, right? We get the exact same thing here in Prey. It's like you sit down, You relax, you take in the sights, and you get introduced to the world of Prey. So that is essentially what we're doing right now. Now there is a little nice touch where you get the credit sequence.
That's a nice view on the bay there.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I can see it. I like it. It's literally been around since Half-Life 1 as a method of introducing your players to the world. I don't think it's any worse now than it was back then, personally.
Here we are, Ms. Yu. Mind the glass on the way out. Good luck to you.
So do you guys miss immersive sims? You know, obviously we looked at Mankind Divided, which, you know, I think is slowly catching steam. Like, if you go and look at
You have a 9 a.m. appointment in the testing facility. Please confirm.
Yeah. If you go and look at the views for Mankind Divided videos now in like 2024, they get like 50,000 views. Like, it's very slowly becoming apparent to people that like immersive sims, you know, like Deus Ex,
finally,
in this case Prey, these games are valuable. They have a unique niche that is no longer being met anymore. You know, we don't have anyone now that Arcane Studios has been closed down to make immersive sims.
You don't look terrible in a TranStar uniform. How's your eye? Still red? I know the test might seem a little unconventional, but it's a Yu family tradition. Breaking convention is in our blood. Once you start the test, just do whatever comes natural. Don't overthink it. Dr. Bellamy's going to walk you through the process. You're in good hands.
No, I got that.
We'll be in orbit next week. I promise.
Mr. Yu, they're ready for your sister in room A.
Right. Listen, just be yourself. I'll see you after.
Yeah, I would really like it this introductory tutorial sequence was skippable, and that you could sequence break it, because, you know, it would fit in with the theming of the game that you could do that, but you're forced to go through this every time you want to boot up a new game of Prey.
Probably not the kind of thing you're used to, I imagine, but trust me, you're going to do fantastic. All good? Great. Let's begin. For this first test, I'd like you to remove the boxes from the red circle as quickly as you can. Just go with your gut. Okay? Wonderful. Press the red button when you're ready. Wonderful. You're absolutely fine. Let's move on to room B then.
So the kind of fun switcheroo here is that when you're doing these tests, you're supposed to essentially be using space magic or plasmids, right? But of course, you as the character don't know you can do that yet.
Morgan, listen carefully. I'd like you to do your best to hide in this room. Take your time, relax, think it over. No, I'm kidding. You only have 9 seconds. Hit the red button when you're ready to start.
So, like in this instance, you're supposed to actually turn into the chair using your plasmids. But yeah, we're gonna hide behind the chair like a doofus.
Is she? She's hiding behind the chair.
Any synaptic register? At all? No? No, that's fine. Sorry, let's keep things moving, Morgan. Head into room C. You're doing marvelous.
But yeah, immersive sims are great. Now, as cute as this is from a narrative perspective, I do feel like they're like over tutorializing. I like the Deus Ex intro a little bit better.
Here we go. For this test, please press
essentially,
the blue
you start
button
off the
across
tutorial in the
room
middle of a
as quickly
mission,
as you
and you're
can.
already like
In
killing
the
dudes.
natural, intuitive way possible, without thinking. Just go for it.
Yeah.
Press the red button when you're ready.
Narratively speaking, this tutorial is really cool, but in terms of what the player gets to do during it, it's not that great.
I'm sorry, can someone please explain to me what's happening? Simmons?
I installed exactly what Tina brought down.
Did you double check?
Speaker's still on.
I apologize, Morgan. We're having some trouble with the equipment. Not your fault. You're doing fabulous, actually. One last room. Let's step into D.
Yeah, so, like I was saying, in the Deus Ex Mankind Divided intro, you already start off in a mission, and you're basically not told what you need to do. You're essentially given free reign to take on the challenges how you want. This is more of a, traditional tutorial.
Can someone get me a cup of coffee? I would appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, Morgan. Have a seat at the table for me, please. Wonderful job. Take a look at the screen in front of you. I'm going to show you a series of questions. Pick the answer that makes the most sense to you. Press start on the screen when you're ready.
So it's a little similar to the Fallout New Vegas Doc Mitchell section, which I actually feel on repeat playthroughs is like slightly
Whenever
tedious.
you're ready, Morgan.
Alright, you gotta click F. Old Half-Life stuff.
Good. Looks like you got the hang of it. Keep going. Ooh, that's heavy stuff. Good. Next. Almost done.
So again, it would be super cool on repeat
Wow.
playthroughs if you could sequence break the intro.
Impressed. Well done. Well done. We're nearly through it. For this next part, I'm going to display an image. I want you to take a good look at it. In a moment, I'm going to ask you what... Where's my coffee? It's empty.
Security! Security!
So again,
Alex.
I don't want to discourage
So
people
what's going on?
from thinking that Prey is an amazing
We have a
game.
problem.
It is a fantastic
What about Morgan?
game,
She's alive.
but it's a slow burn on repeat playthroughs for sure.
I'm on my way.
I think Dishonored 2 gets to the action a little faster. You're essentially
Good
allowed
morning,
to start
Morgan.
knocking people
Today
out
is
and killing
Monday,
them really
March
fast.
15, 2032.
I think I prefer that when it comes to immersive sims. It's just like, let me get into the action, let me play around with the gameplay systems, that sort of thing. But, again, a lot of people that were coming into Prey had never played an immersive sim before. So, simple things like crouching to hide and interacting with computers and all of this stuff would have been totally neat and new and interesting.
Hello, Morgan. It's time we spoke. My code name is January. You're not dreaming. What happened yesterday was real. If you want to know what's going on, first you need to get out of your apartment building. You're not safe.
Yeah, so you find out that this was an elaborate, essentially plasmid testing center.
Good. You're in the simulation lab. Now get to the exit. I'll keep in contact.
Yeah, like a lot of this stuff brand new to people, right? Like, oh, I never played Half-Life 1. I don't realize that I have a crowbar or a wrench. I never played Bioshock 1. yeah, essentially what happened is that the reason why Arcane Studios made Redfall, which was a live service game that they didn't want to make, the reason they did that is because they had to, plain and simple, right? They were pressured by marketing executives to make a game that they didn't want to make.
Typhon cacoplasmus. Everyone calls them mimics. Be careful what you pick up.
Now, visual-wise, this is actually like above average for an immersive sim. I think that the look and feel of the game has stood the test of time. I think Prey is still like a very nice-looking game. And yeah, we're literally fighting like mimic head crabs.
No one has been able to stop the mimics from multiplying since they broke containment. I'm going to help you stay alive. Just a little further.
Yeah, personally, I do feel like Prey has a bit of a slow burn opening. Like, they were really scared, I guess, after making the Dishonored games. They found that some people were simply unfamiliar with the gameplay conventions of an immersive sim. And so this intro is very much a slow burn. Right, like that's not like hard for... Smacking things with a wrench is not like unusually difficult. Right, like that's not unusually difficult for players who are used to immersive sims. We have hit head crabs before with a weapon. We have done that in the 90s, and we can do it now. So I think out of the two introductions, the like slow burn narrative introduction, or the straight into the action introduction, I think I prefer the Deus Ex intro.
Typhon Phantasmus. Keep moving.
So now we get to the the game's claim to fame, which is the glue cannon. The cool thing about the glue cannon is that it creates live geometry in an immersive sim environment. So, for example, boop, right, and then we can go like boop, and then we can go boop. Great, doing good so far. Climb up, and now we just now we get to the cool immersive sim stuff where we can like sort of sequence break the game. You're supposed to have turned on that elevator there. You're supposed to have turned on that elevator like manually, and we're like, no, we're not going to do that. We're just going to climb up the elevator shaft and basically visit the second floor early before the tutorial's even done. And like that's now we get to play proper like immersive sim stuff. Now we get to have fun and enjoy the game. My personal preference, and you can agree with me or disagree with me, is, and we get this gun early now because we sequence broke the game. My personal preference is that I wish you could do that straight from the narrative tutorial, and in reality you have to wait a little bit to do that properly. To be able to start, immersive simming in your immersive sim. You have to wait a little bit. Now I think that's all they let you do at this point. Like that's what you get, is you get the stun gun early, and that's your reward. I don't think I can physically nudge this stuff away. Now, if there's a fire hydrant up here, which there probably won't be, you could try to blow up the fire hydrant, and the explosion will like disperse the stuff. But yeah, anyway, that's good enough. So you get the stun gun early for going up the elevator shaft. Like that's a fun little nod to the player. You actually saw there that you can use it
In
for...
the foyer, grab the neuromod you see in the display case. Normally it's a fake, but I swapped in a real one for you. The neuromods are critical. You won't survive without them.
Okay, so remember when I joked about being able to kill head crabs? Apparently I can't. So we are playing on Nightmare, which is the highest difficulty, so I like that. I like being able to die there to just simple enemies.
No one has been able to stop the mimics from multiplying since they broke containment. I'm going to help you stay alive. Just a little further.
But yeah, immersive sims are fun. I don't think Prey is my favorite immersive sim. I think I like Deus Ex. I like Deus Ex Mankind Divided a bit better, and I also like Dishonored 2 a little bit better than Prey as well. That's just my own personal preference. Agree, disagree, it's up to you guys.
Phantasmus. Keep moving.
We won't bother with the stun gun this time, just so you guys can see some new content. Rather than try and take them head on, let's try to go around. Again, we are playing an immersive sim. We should try things out differently on the second try.
Morgan, there, in the foyer. Grab the neuromod you see in the display case. Normally it's a fake, but I swapped in a real one for you. The neuromods are critical. You won't survive without using them to install new aptitudes. I've already updated your transcribe with the list you requested. Take a look.
Yeah, keep in mind that there is no incentive really for killing things in this game, so you can feel free to just sneak around and deal with obstacles the way that you want to deal with them. I would say that, like, unlike something like Deus Ex Mankind Divided, which we just looked at, where you're essentially a super soldier and a heavily augmented individual, Prey starts you off very human. You're very human on the onset. And in fact, the game actually waits a long time before you get to start using the space magic, which, you know, again, I feel like maybe they overly tutorialized a little bit. Increases your health to 115, your stamina to 1, run, sneak, and climb 5% faster. Okay, we will take that. So, again, holding back on the plasmids and the space magic, I don't know if I agree with that decision. It takes like half the game before you can unlock them, and that's a real shame. That's just the direction they went this time, where, like, unlike Dishonored, where you get all your toys right away.
Who wish they had stronger, faster bodies at the moment. Now, let's get you to the main lobby.
Yeah, unlike something like... unlike something like Dishonored, where you get all your toys right away, or Deus Ex, where you're encouraged to play with your toys and have fun very early on. Seriously? How did you get away? That's impressive. Oh well. Yeah, unlike those games where you get your toys right away, Prey starts you off very weak and very human. As you see, we just died to some mimics, and then we had to sneak around them. Because on this Nightmare difficulty, they, you know, a couple hits and you're dead, basically. You know, they tickle your feet and you're gone. But I don't think it would have hurt the game's pacing that much to allow you to essentially play your way from the onset. And in fact, the DLC for this game was more popular than the main game because it allowed you to do exactly that. It gave you the tools and the toys early on, let you kind of immersive sim, you know, early on how you wanted. The glue gun is cool though, you know. The glue gun's very cool. We'll try to do this sequence break trick again. So yeah, last time we did it in the elevator shaft. You don't have to do it in the, you know, you can use the glue gun to platform wherever you want, as long as there's like enough surface area to build a bridge. You're fine, right? That's basically how that goes. All right, got out of the I would say it got out of the tutorial area, but like this game is heavily tutorialized almost to a fault. Again, not allowing you to get the cool space powers that they kind of tease narratively in that introduction. It's like, oh, move these blocks without moving these blocks, and hide it with, and turn into a chair, and do all these things. They tease that, but then they don't actually let you do it until halfway through the game, and that's really unfortunate in my opinion. I don't think the developers at Arcane were respecting the player enough. And it's maybe that's their experience from Dishonored. Like, again, they're not new to the immersive sim genre. For whatever reason, whether it was, Bethesda's influence or what have you, they thought that they had to heavily tutorialize out the main campaign to the point where you don't get your space powers, until quite late. It does make you feel weaker. It makes you feel more human, and it makes the power curve more gradual. But it's also less fun from an immersive sim standpoint. Like, you think back to the original Deus Ex, they let you have a rocket launcher in the tutorial level. Right? If you choose the rocket launcher, you get the rocket launcher.
Real view of the world?
Yeah, so like, if they give you a rocket launcher, you can use it, right? And that's the kind of the Deus Ex way of game design. Here, they don't want to give you the big guns, so to speak, or the space magic until quite late, and I don't necessarily agree with that standpoint. We'll just do a quick save.
Careful. You need to get to your office. I've updated your map. There's a video you need to see. I know you have a lot of questions.
Yeah, so if you're wondering why they do all these geometry breaks, they don't want you to sequence break too badly with the glue gun.
All personnel should report to
oh, that's bad.
immediately and await further instructions.
So far, so good. Yeah. Oh, it looks like there's a turret over there. Okay, we'll stay away from that. So again, if you want to do the combat, you can. You can like switch between the glue gun and the wrench and smack things as a human. Of course, the neuromods are your upgrade points.
19.
Yeah, so I want to see if I can do some more sequence breaks with the glue gun, because that's like where this game excels, is like using the platforming to essentially get to things before you're supposed to get to them.
Good morning, Talos. All personnel should report to their workstations for the day. If you expect to be absent for any reason,
oh, I don't actually
inform
have to.
your immediate supervisor.
They already have the ledge there, so I don't have to glue gun that. Okay. That's one way around a problem. And you get so much glue gun ammo too, so like it's not, you're basically encouraged to fire away. Now, the other big part of this game that, I think was well received at the time was the recycling system. You can essentially take all the junk you find in the game, and talk about something that Starfield would have benefited from. You can basically take all the junk you can find in the game and just break it down to base components and then not worry about it. One of the big complaints people had about Starfield when it was released is that you basically carry all this junk around waiting for it to be useful. And then in Prey, you don't carry the junk around at all. You carry it and then you recycle it right away. You recycle it right away before it... Oh, there's another one. Yeah, the head crabs aren't much of a threat, even on the highest difficulty, unless you get swarmed, and then it can be a problem. Now, I did, I think, consume some alcohol, which might have increased my strength or something, which made whacking those things a little easier. Alright, let's see what other sequence breaks we can do. Well, we can just carry the ledge across. Something from the 3rd floor, maybe? Yeah. So this is Prey in a nutshell. You know, it gets much better and more complex later on once you get access to all the toys the game can offer you. But the tutorial area really does limit you pretty hard. And like whether or not you appreciate that is largely going to be up to you. You know, do you prefer the slower approach? Do you prefer the faster approach? I personally prefer the faster approach. I'm not going to lie to you. But this has been Prey. You know, RIP Arcane Studios. I will show off Dishonored 2 later because, you know, we'll look at this nice little Space JFK poster. But I do prefer Dishonored 2. I do prefer the Mankind Divided approach. Give me the toys early on, or at least like half of them, and then, or at least something worth mentioning in terms of variety. Like give me one power, give me one shock power out of BioShock, or give me, you know, and then give me another one, and then give me another one, and piecemeal it out over the game. But the way that Prey works is you essentially unlock them all halfway through, and I don't think that works as well than something like a Dishonored or a Deus Ex. But you can tell me if you agree. Do you miss Arcane Studios? Did you try Prey? Do you think it's a good game? Did you try Dishonored? Did you think those were good games? And yeah, this is Eternal King, signing out.